Hello, we are students from Business Analytics in Tech 64, and today we're going to present about the database management system of an insurance incorporated. First, to manage the database, we designed an ERD model as below, which include 5 tables: customers, insurance type, insurance contracts, assessment, and payouts. It records the information and the interaction between customers and the company. In the first table, customer ID is set as primary key, and information also include customer name, address, and phone number. Each customer must exist in the system and can have one or more insurance contracts, or maybe they haven't made any contract yet. Next, to manage their insurance, our company create a table insurance type. Here, insurance type ID is set as primary key, and the table also include insurance name, description of each type of insurance, and the coverage period years. Each insurance contract must be linked to a specific insurance type. Once customer sign a contract, the information will be recorded in the insurance contracts table. The contract ID is set as primary key to uniquely identify the contract, and two foreign key, customer ID and insurance type ID, refer to the information from customers and insurance type table. And here we also include the sign date of the contract. Throughout the duration of the contract, customer can create claims and it will be assessed by our staff. The result of assessment will be recorded in the assessment table. Assessment ID is set as primary key and contract ID is foreign key referred to the information from the contracts table. It also includes the assessment date and the result of assessment, the description to explain for the result, and the estimate payout amount. Each contract belongs to one customer and one insurance type, and each assessment is tied to a specific insurance contract, and a contract can have multiple assessments. And when the assessment is assessed as accepted, it will trigger the payout, and the information is recorded in the payouts table. Each payout will be set with a unique ID, and the foreign key is contract ID from the contracts table. Other information are the amount of payouts, the payout date, and the status of payout, which is limited to pending or done. And each insurance contract can result in multiple payouts, although payouts are optional. And next, to see how we do it with the system, let's move on to the MySQL of TDAP.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Okay, thank you. Based on the entity relationship diagram, we have created database on SQL. First, we create database insurance management, and it includes 5 tables: customers, insurance types, insurance contracts, payouts, and assessment. And we also include some sample data in here. Next, I will show you the advanced database object that we created for the insurance management system. We have built views, procedures, functions, and triggers to make the system more efficient and make it easier for users to query. First, let's start with view. We have 4 main views. First is active contract, which show on currently active insurance contract, and it was filtered by expiration date, which will have to be later than the day that the staff extract the data. Next is a pending claim view. which will display on the assessment while waiting for review. That assessor can use this view to check the claim daily that clarify which claim need processors. Another view is payout per customer. Summarize how much we were paid each customer. It shows the total amount and the latest payout date. And finally, is a payout summary by insurance type, which we will show the total amount paid, number of payout, average amount, largest and smallest about grouped by insurance type. So it's on our four main view. Next is about the procedures. Here we have two main procedure. It is create new customer and create new contract. For create new customer, the customer ID will automatically generate. And after the staff insert the data, did ensure the consistent ID formatting and prevent duplicates. For create new contract, we will generate contract ID, validate the customer existence, calculate the expiration date based on insurance type, and create contract. It handles the business logic that would be complicated, that would be complex in application code. For the function, we had also create two functions here. First, for user-defined function, we have function get claim success rate, which will calculate what percentage of claim we approve. Currently, it is 62.5. For get contract expiration date, it will figure out when contract expire, the term insurance expire after 20 years, and for the happy end retirement, it was whole life insurance that never expires. So the result will be none. For the triggers, we have trigger here that will automatically create payout when record assessment result is accepted. That have two situations. First is when we create the assessment that have already accepted, it will automatically create payout. The second situation is that the assessment result is already pending, and when we update it to be accept, it will also automatically create payout. So this is all our view, this is all our advanced database object that we have. And next, my teammate me will present to you about the database security.
Yes. So as Gina already tell us about the operational aspect of our SQL, I'll be talking about the security side. On the security, we are trying to minimize access and minimize unwanted changes onto our database. To do this, we will do it by a few ways. First, we will ensure that each user have a specific role and specific access to certain command. To do this, we make sure to create roles for our common stage. For example, like agencies, the agent, the claim assessor, and the admin. And for each of these roles, we will define the permissions on the table that they were supposed to be used. They will need to be used for their daily activity. After specifying this permission, once we have a new employee, we will create for them a new account and then grant the corresponding role for them. So this we were able to limit their access and ensure that they can only access the appropriate access for them. On the other hand, apart from accessing command, we'll also do data encryption for sensitive fields like address, name, phone number, etc., so that the sensitive data is available to a certain people of our community. For example, here we have set up the phone encrypted field and then set it in customer secure for our insurance agents and insurance admin. Next up, we'll have the audit logging, for which we will create the table that will include what kind of operation was you, who did that, the activity was happened when, and make sure to create a trigger so that on each update on assessment or payout, we will know what exactly changed in these two tables. They will allow us to meet with the laws compliant and also help us with tracking the activities afterward. Apart from that, we'll make sure to have a backup procedure so that if something happened and we were unable to have access the current data, we'll have a backup, so we'll have a bedrock for our operation. In this, we create a procedure called backup database and create an event so that it will happen every single day on 2 p.m. to call this database. Next up, for securities and as well as our relevancies, we ensure that we have performance optimization. On this optimization, we will do two things. First, we create indexes for commonly queried items, here for single columns or for complex query. For composite indexes for multiple columns, we monitor the performance of our database. For example, like slow queried or long query time, and it will keep track of which query is slower than normal. We also have an archive data to ensure that the old data is stored in elsewhere, and it will significantly reduce our query time. Here, we will have an archive access for information older than 2 years and completed payouts older than 2 years. Lastly, we do have a security check which will monitor the user activities, like who are using our database system for the last 7 days, and also check for inactive user, which will uh, allow us to know which user did not stay active in the last 30 days, and then we'll able to know is there any employee that we have not removed from our system. Next up, we'll come to have presentation on how we do all of this in Python.
So thanks, Billy, for very concise presentation. Okay, so next I will help you to better understand about our code in Python. And okay, so first let's talk about database connection. We use def connect to database function to establish a connection to my SQL database. We use parameterized host, port, user password, or database to access to SQL connection. And in this system, I use port 3308, and the default username is admin2. The connection is used across the entire application to interact with the incident management database. Okay, so next about functionalities. The first function we used graph call procedures. This function is used to execute my SQL store procedures. It takes the procedure's name and any input parameters, then fetch the result. And this makes our backend cleaner and avoids repetitive code when calling procedures. About depth query view, we use this function to extract data from predefined views in the database, and this is a helpful tool of generating report and summarize, such as a list of insurance contracts and their status. About update assessment status, the function allow us to specific insurance contract in the database, and it's used by ancestor to mark contracts as either accept or denied after review. Move on the login window part. This class, like login window, have us to create interface. It asks the user for the username and its password, and then check if the credential allow access to the database. It also recognizes the user's role, agent, or accessor, and this will decide what access the user will have. And the main, we use GUI design to create main menu interface. When the user log in successfully, they are direct to the main menu, and here they can choose the manage customer, manage insurance contracts, or view and update assessment report depending the role. Okay, after that, we create customer form. In the create customer screen, the user inputs customer details such as name, address, phone number, and when the form is submitted, the store procedure is called to save the new customer into database. And we also get contract form to create a new contract for customer. And this screen allow the user to create new contract by insert some customer ID, insurance type ID, inside it, and the data is then sent to the database using store procedures to generate new contract entry. Okay, so last, after we enter all the information of customer and contract, we can view the report. And the application display is a table of insurance contract and their current status. And the data is retrieved from a MySQL view code report. And in the future version, assessor can click and update the assessment status directly to this screen. And finally, the final plug then run the application and it initializes the window, sets a screen size and displays the login interface. And from there, the rest of the system becomes accessible depending on the login result. And next, we will move to the part of review about case study, and I will practice in my Python and interface to illustrate. Okay.
Thank you. And in the last part, we create a test case to evaluate the whole program. And at the first step, we log in the system. Here we can manage customers, contracts, and view reports also. First, let's start with create new customer. Enter the information, customer name, address, and phone number. Click on submit. And here a new customer is created. Moving on to the creation of contracts. We enter the customer ID, which is auto-generated from the system, and enter the insurance type ID based on the insurance the contract signed and the sign date.
Em cứ xóa mấy cái dấu cách ở đằng cuối kia đi.
In viết hoa chữ cái đầu. Here, a new contract is successfully created. And fact, we also can manage the assessment using MySQL.
Chi đẳng.
As customer can create multiple claims throughout the duration, we manage the assessment using MySQL, and there are two cases. First, we can set the result after the evaluation, and we also can update the result after that. If rejected or pending claims are changed into accepted, it will automatically trigger a payout.
Chị Đằng ơi, mấy cái cột này phải viết hoa. Interesting.
And now let's see the payout. After updated, the payout has an auto-generated ID and it is linked to the contract at the pending status. After the payout is resolved, it will become done. And that's all of our test case and also the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. And we also welcome all the questions. And see you.
Bye.
Ok rồi nha.